people are always going to judge you, and you have to realize that if you want to do it, just go out there and do it. The worst you can do is not do it at all.
I made it come up. I made it come up. I made it come up.
What's going on, everybody? Yes. We are back with Interviews with Your Brand Man, guys. And this is the Josiah Enterprise Theater Festival edition to Interviews with Your Brand Man. And I got my guy, my homie, my boy, Charles Mont III, or should I say Charles L. Mont III, okay? Yo, me and Charlie go back. Charlie, we definitely do go back, and I am so proud of the actor and the artist he has become. He has truly, truly blessed this theater festival with his art, man. He came down and tore the stage down, left his heart on the stage, and left nothing up to chance, man. And he gave it all he got. So I am definitely happy to be interviewing him and allowing you all as the audience to get his background story. Y'all get to find out now who's this Charles L. Mont III. And if you came to the theater festival, now you get to find out, who's the man behind Chris, this crazy guy.
The bartender.
and the bartender. And we'll get into our history a little bit. But first, let's get right into Charles L. Mont III. Charles, can you tell the people just a little bit about yourself, your and where they can find you at and where they can link in, and then we're going to jump into the interview.
Okay, hey guys, name is Charles L. Mont III again. People call me Charlie. You definitely can find me on Facebook as Charles L. Mont III, and then on Instagram at The Real Charles. And when I tell you, I don't know how I ended up in this industry. It just was. I'm being honest, it's nothing but God, because I didn't see it as a child. But when I became a teenager, I just fell in love with it. It's like, I started off as a dancer at 12 years old. And I'd never been to dance school at all. Not a class. So I just have a natural talent for dance, and I fell in love with the stage. And I remember just at the age of 19, helping my mom backstage as a stagehand, just helping, and an actor dropped out of the show, and they was like, "Oh, you can read for it," and I read for it, and I was like, "Oh, I could do this," and that's where the journey of acting began. At the age of 19, I think the name of that play was "Don't Let the Devil Do It." So that was my very first stage play, and I actually was a lead role in that play as well. So,
just off the back. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Charlie, let's go back. Because you said you didn't start until you were about, you said 9 or 12. Was it
12 dancing?
12 dancing. Well, let's take it back. You never had any type of inclination for it, so you started dance at 12.
Yes.
Take us back to that Charlie around 10 or 11 or even 12 on was like, dance. It's it.
I can't remember. So I do remember before I started dancing, I do remember I made up a dance to R. Kelly song, I Believe I Can Fly, with my cousins. And I remember just flying around the room. I can believe I can fly, jump off the steps. I remember that, very vaguely remember doing that. But I started going to church on my own without my parents when I was in the 4th grade. And I was going to church every Sunday. And then they were like, we actually have family that goes to church, that has a church. It was called Freedom Christian Bible Fellowship. The pastor is actually my cousin. I had never met them before. So my dad took us there. And when I went there, they were singing praise and worship. And the dance team was dancing at the same time. And I immediately was like, what is that?
What's this?
I want to do that. And I picked up the moves like this. It was to the point where I even helped my aunt get on the dance team before I could even dance. I helped her with the dance move because she was going to audition for the team, and I helped her with the dances so that when she went to the audition, it was like, I already know the moves to the dances that they do. And that was around 12. That was so that was, I would say that was around 9, 10. And about around 12, my church, they were starting the dance ministry, like doing this big arts ministry. So I went out and auditioned for the dance team, and they were blown away that when I told them I never took a dance class, like I just studied people dancing and I caught on to choreography, simple choreography. Because sometimes I'll be like, ugh, I don't know what this is, but I started out there, and I remember her name was Miss Kelly calling me and asking me that I made it on the team. She was like, I want you to be on All About Praise and the praise and worship dance team that was at the church called Selah. And I was like, she was like, which one you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. She was like, I don't think you could do both. I'm like, yes, I'm willing to do both. And that's how my dance career started. I was one of the first boys on the praise and worship dance team, Selah, me and my cousin Darius, and it just started from there. The love for it, the passion for dance just started there, and being a choreographer, and it just, that's where it started, and I just went from there. And because I used to be, actually, sometimes people don't know that I am very shy, like very shy. So I've come out of my shell a lot, but back then I was very shy. So to speak in front of people, I could dance in front of people, but speaking, remember lines, that was never something that I wanted to do. But as time went on and doing shows, it was like, maybe I could do this. Yeah.
So two-part question. When did the acting come into play, and did the acting kind of happen the same way the dancing did? So you said, you saw the praise dancers up there and you was like, yo, let me try that. And was that the same kind of deal with the acting?
I think once I read for that role that day, because I was actually just stage hands, like helping behind the scenes. That's one I really do love doing, like I have a passion for.
Yeah.
Helping behind the scenes. I really do. Like I have I love it. So, and the guy didn't come, and I sat there and read the role, and the role was basically me, not liking my father and stuff like that. So it was just like, oh, I could do this in my sleep. Do this, and I got the lady offered me the role. I did it, and I learned the role, and I did the show, and it was something about just being on the stage. Like it was like another level. It was just like, oh, what is this? It felt good. It felt, this is where I'm supposed to be. So it was like, all right, let's do it. And it started from there. And then I did that show, and then I did another show. I forget what the name it was, but it was I played the character that had was bipolar, schizophrenia, and something else. And I was allowed to just act crazy, and the audience loved it. One of the biggest things I remember from doing that show was I had put on this wig at the last minute before we went out, put this wig on and this crown, and it was braided, and I did a braid, and I did two. And one braid was up here and one braid was down here. I remember the lady the character said something, and she looked at me with this face, and I did this, and my sister told me, she said the braids were going in two different directions, and the audience were cracking up. And I remember my sister, the main one, screaming, laughing. And I'm like, oh my God, get it together, girl, because you're going to make me laugh. Like, when you recognize a voice, you're like, she's going to make me laugh. And I love that, bro. I never got his name was Earl. And it was just like that feeling again, like the adrenaline rush, like, oh, I gotta do this. I gotta keep doing it. Yeah. I gotta give it, I gotta keep doing it. And then I just kept going. I did. It just started. I just kept trying out for stuff. And then when I got into the real world of this acting, I got because it was so natural. I was so used to just getting the role that when it was time for me to go audition for roles,
it wasn't quite the same.
It wasn't.
It wasn't quite the same. So I want to dive into that aspect, but let's pull back a little bit more. So is anybody in your family artistic? Are you the only one, or do you have a lot of dancers and actors and performers in your family?
No.
Okay.
Now my little cousin, like the second generations, there are some that are dancing and stuff like that. But out of my first generation cousins, I think it's 11 of us.
Got you. So
It's me.
the only exposure you had was in church when you were seeing,
Yeah.
your folks in church. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. No movies or anything like that? No, like, yo, I watched The Wiz, or I saw Fame, or
I'm glad you brought that up. I did love musicals. My all-time favorite movie was Sister Act 2. Know all the moves and lines down pat.
Same here. I know all the lines of Sister Act 2. Every last, and Sister Act 1.
Yeah. Sister Act 1, yes. No, I learned Sister Act 2 first, and then I learned Sister Act 1.
Okay.
I remember, like, what is Sister Act 1? Like, I don't like it at first, but Sister Act 2, I remember being in my grandmother's house watching it. It was on a VHS, and I remember I would do the moves. I would come out and do the flips, the last dance scene that they do. I would come out and do the flips. And there were trophies that my mom and my aunt had at the house. And when they wow, I was really creative. Didn't think I know it back then. And I was like 5, 6, or 7. And when it was time for them to get the awards, I used to be sitting on the side like, okay, when that part come out, and then they would call St. Francis Academy, I would run out, grab a trophy, and do everything. I used to do everything that they do. That was a movie, and then I loved What's Love Got to Do with It at that age. But I liked it for the singing and the dancing. I did.
Yeah. Not necessarily the context of the abuse. And
no.
I don't really care too much for the storyline.
The dancing, all the movies, I did love that. So I guess it started young, but I didn't realize what it was then.
What it was, yeah. It's funny because I think most artistic people, most actors and performers really start off like that. Like, for me, it was Michael Jackson and Madonna all day. I recorded every last one of their concerts, and that's where, like, how I actually learned how to dance. And people are usually confused when I actually do get up and dance and do any type of dance, whether it's hip hop, modern, jazz, ballet, or any of that kind of dance. People are very confused. They're like, I didn't know. I'm like, it's not something I really put out there, but it is something I like to do.
Right.
But it definitely did all start there. It started from emulating what I saw great performers doing on TV. Like, I love Michael Jackson, Madonna, Bobby Brown, who was another one, Janet Jackson. There's one I'm sitting here forgetting, Prince, of course, like, but just watching all of their old stuff and just emulating their videos and imitating it, singing, Boys and Men and all of that stuff, man. It really drove the artist in me home. So now I go to my next question, which we're going to peel into the future a little bit, is when you, before hopping into the real world, or just during the process after 12 of you finding your art and your place in this dance and this acting world, did something say, hey, let me take classes, or mom, can I go to what they had out there, which was Freedom or Capital or Franklin Learning Center? Did that ever come to you to say, let me do this, or how'd that go?
Oh, yes. I wanted to go to Kappa so bad, but my grades did not allow me to go to Kappa.
Wow, it was your grades, really?
It was my grades. Grades did not. I've learned when I was in my 12th grade year, I realized even now, every school is not for everybody in the aspect of, I need something that keeps my attention, because if it's not that I don't know it or can't do it. If it's boring.
And I have to answer this because we see you in a classroom right now. So you're saying it right, but tell us what you're doing like right now. You're in a classroom. Tell the people what you're doing. Mr. School got to be fun.
It does. I am the fun guy. I am the fun guy here. I am actually have become the movement teacher at this daycare called We Are the World. So nice. I'm the before and after care summer camp guy, and then I also I just started this week as the movement teacher for the pre-K, so they could get situated for when they go to school, when they go to preps and stuff, so they can get transition used to that type of stuff. But I think with learning, you have to find what works for each child. Each child is not
the same,
that.
and they're not in the same box at all.
They're not going to, everybody learn. I know for myself, I learn differently.
Yeah.
I'm a hands-on learner.
Yeah.
If you sit there and talk to me,
yeah,
there's some things that you just got to change. These kids are different than when I was
different, but their attention span, I mean, like, you gotta keep, they got 15-30 second attention span, so yeah. It's TikTok, Instagram microwave generation all day, like all day long.
It drives me crazy. I'd be like, can y'all just 5 minutes, please, 5 minutes, I got you. I look at some of these kids and I'm like, I was just like that, I was like this, and I'm like, oh, my parents had a handful. Like, if I can relate to these kids,
did I do it?
I got all the kids' personality.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, they had a handful. Like, I was a lot.
Listen.
But of course, they probably just didn't know. I've realized that my parents just didn't know. Yeah. Like, I was the first. Nobody's in my family artsy the way I am. Nobody's creative like the way I am. So I just didn't know. I just think that they just didn't know. So, and some parents just, if you're not used to seeing it, you don't know that that's a thing.
So, and that brings me to this question, because you said you didn't get into Kappa, and so your parents, when they saw you in these in the plays, in the church productions, and the dance teams and the praise team, did they say, this might be something, let's pick this up, Charlie? Or you like, did they push it, or did they just say, Charlie, you are on your own with this right now, like, you figure out this arts thing because I ain't got it?
Well, so my dad wasn't a fan of it, me being a dancer. When I first tried to start dancing, I signed up. I remember the first time they had something in my church for like arts. I signed up and went there for a week. They signed me up for 1 week, and then the next week he was like, "Oh, you're going to the Young Marines." Young Marines. That was so horrible. Like,
Young Marine.
Every Saturday, and I couldn't go because the dance class was on Saturday, and it was the Young Marines was on Saturday, and I had to go and be a Young Marine, and I hated it so much that I just passed just by the skin of my teeth, because I did not care about this stuff. And I made myself, I'm a little creative. I did myself a favor. So in the Young Marines, once you graduate, there's your first 2 camping trips are mandatory. Mm-hmm. So after the graduation, it was a camping trip. So I went on a camping trip, and then there was a break. We wasn't going on Saturdays. And then I think in August, it was another camping trip. Well, because, technology wasn't out there back then. The mail came, I was home, and it was a reminder of the camping trip that was coming up.
Wow.
And I did, ripped it and threw it in the trash. And went on about the business. And then, like, in September, we got a letter in the mail saying that I was basically kicked out of of it. And my dad was like, "Why didn't you remind us? You knew something. I was like, I did not know. Because I didn't want to do it. So when it's crazy. My childhood is traumatic, but and then because I fell in love with dancing so much, so when I did get in trouble in school, that was my punishment. I couldn't go to dance rehearsal.
Wow.
Stuff like I could do everything else, but dancing was that was my punishment. Like,
wow, interesting. So to keep you away from your love and your art, so how did that affect you? Yeah, how did that affect did it pull you closer to your art? Did it pull it closer to
Yes, because I used to be in my room and dance.
I was just going to say, like, were you in your room in secret, like, dancing and just like, you know what, when I get out of here, I'm busting loose?
Oh, when I come back out,
yeah, when I come back,
better than what I was before. I'm going to figure this out. So,
wow.
I even got in trouble one time. Yeah, I got in trouble. I think I forgot what, for whatever reason. And they was like, I had been rehearsing, and then they was like, you're not going to be able to go, you can't dance at the youth conference that we was having in my church. And I'm like, dang, but my parents wasn't going. So you think I'm going to go and watch my dance team dance and I not dance? Mm-hmm. Got another thing coming. And I got up there and I was like Rita in Sister Act 2. I snuck and danced.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it played out just like Sister Act 2 did. Like you went out there and did your thing, and then did mom and dad show up in the audience like
I remember my cousin Nina. She knew I was on punishment. She knew I wasn't supposed to dance. She was like, "Now you know."
What you doing up there? Yo, that is crazy. So I wondered, do you find yourself fighting harder now? So when you hear a no now, does it deplete you, or what's the process? Is it kind of the same when this art was taken away from you as a child? Does it trigger that a little bit?
The no's make me fight harder, but sometimes because I am very self insecure, very insecure, and like it sometimes weighs me down because I'd be like, why aren't I good enough? And it's just what am I doing wrong? Like that's what it always felt like. Like I'm not, because I know that I can do these things, but what is it that's holding me back from not doing the things?
And what are some of the things that you think are holding you back, or what are some of the things you come up with?
Insecure, my confidence. I've had it, especially with dancing and acting. I've around people who've been doing this for years and went to school and went to Kappa and all that stuff. But then I think now I'd be like, Charlie, you've been on the same stage as those people that went to Kappa. The dancers that went to Elion and Freedom Theater. You have been on the stage with them. I've danced with somebody that used to dance for the Lion King in New York. So I don't know what it is that made me think that I couldn't do it, but I think, well, I do know what it is. Dancers made me feel like I shouldn't have been there because I don't know all the turns and I can't catch on the choreography like that. Oh, but once I call it an ABC. I'm an ABC person, and sometimes I just be missing B, and B be that small. But if I don't get B, I don't get it, and I just need you to break it down. And now I'm at a place where I'm missing B's. I was in a dance rehearsal the other day. I said, "There's a lot of B's I'm missing." And when I broke it down, I was like, "Oh, that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm missing." And that's what type of person I am. Sometimes I just need that A, B, C.
Yeah, attention to the details. Yeah.
Yes, attention, because I'm missing something.
Yeah.
So it's just, and then with acting, to be honest, especially when it came to the world of acting, when I first started, I got the roles because people knew me, and I didn't really have to do auditions and stuff like that. And then when it was time for me to do auditions, I hate doing monologues. I know. How are you a performer and you hate?
Brother, I am in the same boat. I hate monologues. I that's why I actually one of the reasons. Yeah. But for audition, it hits me every time. That's actually why I started writing my own monologues and my own stuff, because I never could find a monologue that I could really rip apart. Like I always hated the dialogue in them. Always
hate them. Like. Yeah. And then it's like I have this thing about three people, and now you see me. I didn't perform in front of a bunch of people, but them three people, there's something when I walk in. It's just like, and I'll be like, "Don't defeat yourself, don't whatever," and it's just be like, and I just flop, and I'll be like, "What is happening?" Like, it'd be like I'd be having an out of body experience. Like, Charlie, what are you doing? And it'd be like, I know. I'll be talking back to myself. I don't know, and it made me hate auditions. You sat in on an audition with me. And it's just like, that's one of the things that stopped me from going to even further, because I'm like, I hate auditions. I hate the monologue part of it. If you say we're going to do some cold reads, boom, we good. But you want me to do a monologue?
Yeah.
And that's where I lack. No matter how many classes I've taken, and whether I just lack in doing a monologue for audition. I hate it. And I'm trying to get better with it, but Hated it.
Well, I think the first core of everything, from what I know, when you want to kind of change something that you quote unquote hate, is definitely changing the language behind it, right? So,
Right.
you know, if you're going to continue to tell yourself you hate it, that's what's going to happen. Like you're not going to. There's no part of it that you're ever going to really like. So let's jump into that professional world. So you came out, you didn't take any classes, you didn't do the background that everybody else had, but you jumped into this world. Now, clearly, you got some type of juice because you're moving in this world right now, right? And so what was that like? How long did it take for Charlie just to really clean his chops up, iron sharpen that iron, and like, yo, now I'm getting these roles, now I'm getting these leads, now I'm doing this, like, and what was that process like? How did it rip you down? How did it bring you up? Talk about that.
So what is it that made me just be honest, for me now, I think it was this year for me that made me go. I lost, excuse me. At the beginning of this year, I lost my job that I love so much. I was a manager at American Airlines. And then 4 days later, my best friend of 10 years killed herself. Mm-hmm. So I felt very numb and empty. And I felt like I was embarrassed. I had got another job. And then I got fired right again. That's a whole nother story. But I felt empty. I felt just empty. Before that 2020 hit, and you know, theater and everything stopped. And so at first it didn't feel like anything. And then I started working at the American Airlines, and doing American Airlines, I loved it. But what I realized now was the creative side of me was dying because I wasn't able to do shows like I used to and everything. And I even did a show last year called Black Kid Joy with John Grace Productions. And in the midst of me doing that show, I didn't enjoy it because I was stressing about getting people to cover my shift and doing double so I can have off this day to be in rehearsal. And it was just like, and then life was lifing, and I was just going through stuff, and I didn't realize, but I was going through a depression at the same time. And it was just, I just did not enjoy it. I was not happy. And January 2023 happened, and I just stopped. And I remember you putting out that post about auditions, and I was just like, all right, I ain't got no monologue. I ain't got nothing, but Jared knows me, and I don't care if I'm not gonna lie. He knows me. He's doing Black Love. I did that show before. I could just let me just do my regular role right here. Just let me and I came and auditioned, and I remember sitting in that audition reading for all those other roles. And at that point, I was like, what they gonna do? Tell me no.
Yeah. What's the worst they can do, right?
To tell me no. That's where I was at. I said, I have nothing else. So let me you want me to do what? Read for this role? Okay. You want me to give this? Okay. And that's where it's just been for me now. It's like, oh, I'm going to just give you, not think about it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You tell me to do something different, I'm going to try my best to bring that to stage and not be in my head. Because I'm good for being in my head.
Well, I think we all are, man. Like, it's to err to be human, you know? And so it's just like, I always say, and you heard me say this plenty of times, is like, stop thinking. You got to stop thinking. And like, when you stop thinking and you just find yourself in the mode of flow, when you find yourself in flow mode, that's when the beauty really happens. The moment you start thinking about it is when you start faltering, right? It's like when Jesus was walking on water and he called out, I think it was Peter or whoever. Peter, he called out. And the whole point of it was Peter was walking on water. But the moment he wanted to notice that he was on water and look down was when he started sinking. And so it's like, I call it that stinking thinking. Yeah. And it gets us every single time. It gets us every single time when we just kind of get in our head. So you kind of got the best flow of it, of like, yo, no, let me go in, let me go hard for this. So talk about that in a bit. Like, so you said you went through this depression. You were kind of losing your love for the art and losing your art at the same time. So how did this theater festival really bring you back to it? Do you feel stronger now? Like was this a blessing for you?
Oh, this theater festival, I'm gonna tell you, God is intentional.
Yes.
And this season, he was intentional with me. I remember praying like, God, I don't, at this point, whatever you say I gotta do whatever you want,
Yeah.
whatever I gotta let go, just because at this point, me trying to make it right or do it right or just do it ain't working. And this theater festival, you guys made me feel like a star, like the star. Like that's what it felt like for me. Yeah. Like I'm not trying to take anything from anybody else, but that's what
because you were a star, and that was the goal, to make everybody feel like stars, yo.
It made me feel like a star. It made me, when I was second guessing myself, when you saw it, you like, you have it. Stop guessing, second guessing yourself, because life happened and things happen, and you start. I remember during their festival, I came, I was like, all right, we're gonna do this idea. I got this idea, and people get in your head and be like, making you feel like you are doing too much and trying to take over and trying to be like this person. And I'm like, no, I just want this to come together. I see the vision. I understand the role. I understand everything now. Let's bring this show on. I like because we can kill it. And I remember when I was like, okay, Charlie, you're doing too much. And that's when I started second guessing in my head, and it wasn't feeling right. And he was like, stop thinking, you got it. And it was just like, all right, he trusts me. And it brought back my passion for being a costume manager. You trust me with that. And it was just like, I remember you saying, you need a lookbook. And I'm like, lookbook. I do this, and I was trying to do the lookbook, and I'm like, I'm coming together with
it's just something about tradition which you just can't get.
It just doesn't feel right. Like I can't get it. And I'm like trying to find pictures for the vision that I'm seeing. And I'm like, but no, that's not what I want. That's not how I see it. That's not what it is. Yeah. And you just let me all right, I remember sending you the document like this. I don't know if you're going to understand, but this is the document. This is how I learned to do it. This is what my best way I could think to do it. And you let me just do it. And I sent the actors what they needed and whatever. And in that aspect of being a costume manager and telling them what to have, like an idea of what they have, I wanted the actors to tell me what they envision for their character. So I'm like, this is the set that I need. Now you go and what you think the character is and present to me what you think that you would like for the character. And some stuff was like, no, that's not quite it. No, let's try something else. And then stuff was like, yes, I like that idea. Yes, this is that. Yes. Bring me what you have. And now I can bring together where I can add this to it and do this, wear this with that, and see for things once you have it, because it was just like, it also makes them feel a part.
Yep, I know exactly
what you mean. Make the character feel so you feel comfortable. Whatever's gonna make that character.
And so it's not like it's forced on them. And what I love from working with you all these years is, and that's I love letting people fly. You specifically, you can execute, and that I know. Like I've seen you under pressure, and I still seen you execute. Even though it might be flawed, you still executed. You still gave it all you got. And so a lot of people get to all talk and all profession and all trained and everything like that. But when it comes to it, execution is flawed and not flawed in a way where it's like, oh, it's okay to ride with. No, flawed in a way where it's like, what are they doing? Right. And you actually, our first experience together at the very last minute in prayer circle underneath the stage, I had an actor quit or not work out at the very last minute before we go on stage. And I remember right after that prayer, I go, Charlie, you're the bartender, find something black. He was like, I execute. And I didn't know what to expect, but when that audience started going in and laughing, and I knew there was not a comedic part that I wrote in this part, and they were laughing at you, I was like, look at you, we're still in the show with no lines. I was like, my God, I made this thing spicy.
And I wasn't in, I remember that day, I was sitting in, my heart was boom, 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 boom. Because I'm like, I don't know. I remember I never forget. I remember the space was this big,
Yep.
like
Very
turn around
limited.
right here, and the lines of what they were saying was like right there. And what they were saying was some crazy stuff, like you got a husband, you got a wife, and y'all over here flirting and y'all kissing, and what is happening? So it was just like, well, I can't just stand here and look.
Yeah, not at all.
So the audience is feeling the same thing. So I felt this stuff was like, oh, okay, just respond. Always remember, respond. I was responding. I'd never forget. My heart was pounding. And you came downstairs and was like, my guy. I was like, well, all right, okay.
I did something right.
All right, because I didn't know it was like you said, I didn't know it was supposed to be funny. I just was being Charlie, you said being a bartender. I'm not trying to, and that was the whole thing was like I wasn't trying to steal the scene. I just was in the scene. That's it.
And you know what? The funny thing is with that role, I did want the bartender because the person I had in that role wasn't necessarily executing it to correction during rehearsals. So I totally forgot that part was because I did say that, like, bartender, I want you to, they're talking some stuff and you're in close proximity, like you hear some of this stuff, you got to react. And so without even giving you that note, you took it and ran with it, and it was a beautiful thing. And that's when I knew you were ready for more. And then we did Raheem and Black Love, and you killed that. And then like watching you come into Chris and to this role that was definitely a lot more dynamic and challenging. You took it head on, and what I appreciate about people is when they form their own visions around my vision. You know, the Bible says without vision the people will perish, and so you saw the vision and you went hard for it. And like, unless I was saying you're doing too much, you did exactly what you needed to do, and I appreciated it. And sometimes I'm like, man, they are taking this way too seriously. Like, I thought that, I was like, they're really taking this thing seriously. I was like, but hey, I am not going to knock it. If they want to work, let them work. And you pushed yourself and your team, and y'all got to the finish line flawlessly. I can't wait till we bring the video up for people to see, because they got to see the magic that you guys
I want to see it myself.
Yeah, y'all going to see it. Y'all are going to see it. Like, screw the people. I want to see it.
I want to see it.
I know that's right. Listen, yo, before we wrap up, I got fire round questions that I want to ask you, but I want you to talk to an artist out there, that a child and an adult that wants to try it, but they're intimidated because of all the professional people they see doing it, and they get into this room and they don't feel big enough. They don't feel smart enough. They don't feel well-versed or well-rounded enough. Talk to that person right there and give them just a bit of inspiration, or tell them what you would do in their shoes.
In that, people are always going to judge you, and you have to realize that if you want to do it, just go out there and do it. The worst you can do is fail, and then just forget it. That's not the worst thing you can do, but that's one of the bad things that can happen. But the worst thing you can do is not do it at all, and not knowing what the outcome will be. For me personally, you just got to do it. I've done it. I've sat in places with people who have degrees for this. They get paid to do this, and I just come and be like, it's a natural talent. It's a God-given talent. And when God calls you to something, no man will be able to remove you from the rooms. Like, I have so many opportunities that sometimes I'm like, Charlie, you can do this. I was a whole assistant director for a murder mystery troupe in Philly for a year and a half that people don't know. Like, the director asked me to be the assistant director, and I'm just like,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll take it. I just went to a murder mystery. It was really cool. That's what's up.
Yeah. And I saw you with Earl was in the troupe with me.
Okay. I was just gonna ask. Yep.
Yeah, Earl was in me. It was so funny. Earl told me about the audition for the murder mystery, and I went and did it, and then I became the assistant director for that. I've performed on TV plenty of times. I'm going to be in the Thanksgiving Day Parade again, given that I get paid by 6ABC to perform, to learn a song, go to 6ABC, the studio, and sing these songs so I could be on the green screen. But I've done so many things like that. It's just like sometimes I've traveled to perform. just people have called me just because they worked with me to do a show, or recommended me. I remember that Princess Nala in The Journey to the Magic Window. I got that role 2 weeks before the show went up. And I remember her saying, "Oh, I just need you to read for these 2 roles. It's called Shade." At the point, the role was Shade 1 and the nurse. I'm like, okay. And I'm reading through Act 1. I'm like, okay, it's going to be a small role. Get to Act 2. This is a role, lady. And the show is 2 weeks from now. Like, what are you doing? Okay. And just deliver and just kept going. They keep getting callbacks. And it's just like everybody, it's just like the things are lining up. And I just have to accept what's lining up for me. So you have to go out there and whatever God has for you, you just have to just walk in it. The only thing that you can walk in it, if the door is there, you have to walk through it. Like the door is there. And if you don't walk through the door, then you'll never know.
You'll never know
What can happen.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is if you never ask, the answer is always no. And so like if you never push yourself or ask yourself, can I do this? Will I do it? You'll never know. And I love your story because you did it. You pushed through. You had tension in your family, in your household. You had people pulling on you not to do it, and like you're still living and loving and writing out your truth and your art, and it shows. And like it has taken you places. It speaks to that law of attraction. So it's just like I appreciate you giving that word to people because they need to hear it. And there's somebody out there that's going to watch this, or somebody that's watching you, and they can see, hey, I'm not the only one. It is possible. And it is possible for me. So thank you, brother, because so many people are so much better for it. And thank you so much for blessing the theater festival, man. You murked it. You killed it. Can't wait to work with you in the future. This is only the beginning of the beginning. So just get ready for the roller coaster to ride, man. It's gonna be dope. But before we round this off, I got some fire round questions for you. You got 5 seconds just to answer these questions. I usually do 5, but I got 9 up here, so I'm gonna see what happens with it. So I count you down. If you can't answer the question, I'm buzzing you out. You go into the next one, but you got 5 seconds to answer these questions. So here we go. You ready for these fire rounds, brother? You ready?
All right, let's go. All right, let's go.
All right. Question number 1. Do you have a routine before going on stage, and what is it?
No.
Okay. Question number 2. Where do you find the most peace?
Dancing.
Amen. Question number 3. What's something new you learned this week?
I'm a great teacher.
All right, number 4. What's one thing you can't live without?
The Lord Jesus.
A to the men.
Okay.
All right, question number 5. What's the first role you ever auditioned for?
Henry Dickerson, that role. No. It was the No Name play. 2013. That was the first time I auditioned. Yes.
Okay.
Did a real audition.
Number 6. Last thing you Googled.
I can't even think. Yes, and
7. What's the best advice you ever received?
Just go for it.
Amen. And if you could work with anyone, who would it be?
I'm not.
That concludes the fire round questions. I think you're like 2 for 8, but we'll work with that.
Yeah, it's. I'm one of the people that I am not starstruck.
Gotcha.
So if an opportunity comes, I'm here for it, but it's not like I have to work with this person because I might not ever work with that person.
Yeah,
so
facts. I dig it. How and we'll just add last question of the night is: where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see Charlie, the artist, your art? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where I see myself in 5 years, I see myself finally. Here we go. I hate talking about myself sometimes, but I have a vision of having a dance studio calling Dancing with Charlie and Friends. I want this dance studio to be for people like me that just love to dance, know how to dance, and doesn't have to be strict. Like I definitely want to have people who are trained to teach, but also just be like, my curriculum is let people figure out what they're good at and let their bodies move the way they can do and grow from there, and then start adding the things that they need to become the better dancer performers they want to be. And also having, by 5 years, also being known for my dance/exercise class called Dancercise with Charlie.
Nice. Is that all a part of your big dream as well? Like the big dream for Charlie?
Yes, that's the big dream. That I remember the first week of rehearsal, you asked us to talk about our dreams, and I talked about teaching in school, and it's just like people are pushing me to do it. It's like the weirdest thing. I'm like, God, how am I going to do this? But okay, you gave me the vision. Somehow it's going to happen. So
if you gave you the vision, it's going to happen. You just got to walk in that direction. That's dope, Charlie. That's dope. Thank you so much. And I pray that you not only get to your vision, but you prosper and you work in it, and you don't let any pitfalls or downfalls. It sounds like you got your tough skin. It sounds like you're ready for whatever is going to come when this vision occurs. So let's end it off. I hear you talking about this dance class, and I saw you make a little post about it. So I hope you are pushing through, and I hope it's about to go down. And if it's the case, tell people once again, remind them where they can find you at, and how to get in contact with you, with Charles Elmont III, the dancer, the actor, the extraordinaire, the teacher, the everything above the dance school owner. Please tell us where we can find you and keep up with you at once again.
Again, you can find me on Facebook at Charles Elmont III, and you can find me on Instagram at The Real Charles. It's spelled DAR, the number 3.
The Real Charles.
It was only what Instagram would let me write. So DAR, the number 3, AL Charles. And the number 3 stands because I'm the third. I was trying to be
different. Just got the Charles Elmont III, number 3.
Okay, yeah, that's who I am. Don't look if you see a junior, name it the 3rd.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Charles, for your time, man. Like this interview was dope, and people are going to be better for it. So thank you so much for joining us on Interviews with Your Brand Man. Everybody, that was Charles Elmont III. He played Chris. Great Chris. Killed the role. Can't wait for you all to see it, y'all. And make sure y'all check out and follow Charlie and everything that he's doing. This dude is great. He's talented. He got a mad future in front of him. And guys, this is it. Until next time, y'all. This is Jared. I am your brand man. This is Interviews with Your Brand Man with Charles Elmont III. We are out. Peace.
Yeah. See you, Jared.